2023, January 17th. Been a while since last time, and I have been drawing cars every single day. Still. Not at the beginning of the day. Again, I don't want the cars to, really affect me, so I leave them at the last thing of the day and then try to reflect upon them. But it's been quite a few days, and I'll try to see if I can recall what was happening. So the first day after I stopped doing my daily journal was King of Wands, and I would at the time I was still struggling with my project. I was still kind of going back and forth with what I really want to do with the thing. I think on that day I eventually settled on taking the student perspective or just the peer perspective, or it's at an equal status. So King of Wands means wise, conscientious, educated, good mediator, devoted, loyal. So I feel not really sure how it directly relates to what I did that day or what my decisions were that day, but I think just in general, me picking a position, a character that is more something I am more familiar with is a wise choice. Because I've never been a teacher. I don't know what it's really like to be in that kind of position. And I did mention before where I think for my project, a position as a teacher would be a bit too difficult to, I guess, convey my ideas, to help to convey my ideas properly. So I ended up just going with the student instead, where I think even though there's going to be a lot of setup, or a lot of what do you call it, just extra fluff, I think it's necessary for the entire thing anyways. I can't just go in it's not like I'm writing an academic paper. I am writing something that for people to to experience. So yeah, I think in the end I made the right choice to take that approach. Now something interesting happens the next day. Though I did say on the previous day, I said that I want to have I want to develop more into the student character. There was still a lot of things that I felt were just wrong with it. I didn't exactly completely, I guess, I just wasn't really feeling the character. There was still something missing, and I wasn't exactly sure why. So I was just very frustrated, and at the end of the day, I just went to my dog. Okay, now this looks a bit kind of bad with the lover's card, because that's the card I drew on that day. In fact, I was struggling so much, I basically just drew a card to try to get some divination or something. And it sort of helped me. So, the lovers. Love, attraction, virtue, compatibility, harmony, triumph over trials, choice, all these things kind of relate to what I'm talking about. Intuitive decisions, union, entanglement, infidelity, moral lapse, stuff, blah, blah, blah. Now, obviously, love can come in many forms. And obviously, for me, I don't really have a partner like that, a romantic partner. So what I did, I went to my dog, and I just chilled with them. I was okay, my mind is basically filled with too much stuff. I'm being way too frustrated. I need something to just calm myself down, to just meditate, calm down, and clear my mind, and it's and then go with what, and then decide afterwards what I'm gonna do. So I basically did that. I sat on the ground, and then my dog, laid beside me, and I was scratching his head. He was taking a small nap, Everything was very comfortable. And then while sitting there, with my dog, it's just this idea. I was still thinking about, okay, what kind of, what do I really want to write? Like, what is missing from this project that I'm writing? And I realized is that I just don't think I am like I don't see that kind of like character like existing in the first place. Like at first I had this like I was thinking about like doing a student thing or like a school setting thing, because I just came out of school. I just graduated from university, but I guess like I just didn't sit well with it because now I am out of it. Like if I were still a student, then I would probably be more. I think it would be easier for me to get into like the mood of writing about a student. But right now I'm not a student. I'm someone that's like, my lifestyle and my current identity and stuff like that is just not that anymore. Right now I'm just like, just a functional member of society, I guess. I'm working a 9 to 5 job and stuff like that. So writing a character that is a student is just not something I feel like I can completely get my mind into. When like it feels weird to write about a student doing student stuff while I am doing my 9 to 5 job and feeling exhausted from work, or the lack of work actually. Like the job is just so damn boring. But yeah, I was able to basically realize, no, a student is not the character I want. However, what I do want, maybe I can use from the real life, is a coworker, a colleague, and that is what I settled on, and that is the thing that I think truly kind of like just when I thought about it, it just clicked with me. Like the other ones are like, oh, exciting ideas, but this one is just the one that clicked. It had like almost all the features that I wanted, which is like I want a peer, right, to the main perspective. I want someone that's like on an equal social status, and I want someone that is like helps to convey some ideas through that kind of like position. And I think a colleague is like the perfect thing. I had the right mindset for something like that, because obviously I am working right now, and it's something that I am just like at the moment I am more familiar with, and I am more I think just relates more to. Yeah, I think that's the best word. And yeah, the lovers, not exactly like romantically, but a man's best friend, the dog. So good dog. So then it just comes down to just writing it out. King of Cups, Two of Wands, Four of Swords. Honestly, the writing didn't really take that long. I basically set up, like the base thing was basically decided almost like instantaneously after the first draft. And then afterwards was just like small adjustments here and there. So let's see, King of Cups. Let's see what happened like the day after. Responsible, honest, kind man, creative, educated, or professional, liberal, poetic, artistic. So yeah, in general, it was just like, I was like just very happy with what I came up with. There is also fluctuating and lacking persistence because basically, not fun fact, but on that day, I did so little. I finished the draft and then I almost like, not really burned out, but it's like I lost gas basically. Not exactly very happy with myself there, but yeah. When I saw the description, it was like lacking persistence, I was like, yeah, that's me. Now, the cups, yeah, water is about friendship, blah, 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 intuition, imagination, spirituality, desire for fulfillment. I did somewhat accomplish like a bit with what I wanted to do, but on that day, I think in general, this honestly could have been just like a reverse card because I didn't really do much. I still did a little, you know, I still like refined the whole thing a bit, but yeah. Two of Wands is the day afterwards. Let's see. Okay, individual success versus codependency. Real. Restlessness, boredom, dissatisfaction with current lot, seeking greener pastures. Yep. To stay or go, getting needs met, temporary need for independence. Yeah, I think that's like quite true, especially for like what kind of character I'm trying to write, or what this project is actually like doing this for. It's definitely for myself, but I think there were also a lot of like maybe I'm just like thinking ahead a bit too much, but there were a lot of like contemplations about, oh, am I really like fit for what I'm doing right now? You know, am I just wasting time for this thing that I am doing? Can't really handle like what's to come afterwards. But then again, you know, I always have to kind of just not physically, but just always like remind myself that no, that you're thinking too far. Like you're thinking about things that are honestly very unlikely to happen. Like even if I write this thing, it might like no one might be there to like even basically read it or like experience this project you've made. So what is there to really worry about? You're worrying about nothing. Like worrying about the future is not helping with what you're doing right now. And I think that's what's happening. Boredom, I think that's just in terms of like just life in general, but the satisfaction with the current lot, I think that's very true. Like I think I was like just expecting too much from this project, where I was like really, I think, thinking about just like hitting it off with this thing, but obviously the chances of like quote unquote hitting it off with anything is like very low. Like success is just not something that comes easy, and I think on that day I was just thinking about too much with these things because, you know, I had such a good idea on this day that was like, oh, I was like very excited for the project and for myself, but obviously, you know, I think I just like hyped myself too much. And then today, Four of Swords. We're having like a lot of like, I'm honestly surprised, not a lot, but I'm surprised that we're actually getting like repeats. The King of Wands, I think we had a repeat. I think King of Cups as well. And then we have Four of Swords. Let's look at Four of Swords. Mental security, retreat, rest, peace. I think that's fair. Right? Like that's just kind of like the state of mind I am at right now. Like I have come to terms with myself with like what I want to do. Though, like, you know, occasionally I always need kind of like to remind myself of certain things, but I think in general I am at a good place right now where I am not. I think I am still quite stressed about this thing I am doing because like I'm having like some stomach problems and stuff like that, and I feel like my body reacts so much to how much stress I'm actually like feeling. Like whenever there's like a lot of stress, I think my body just like reacts in the most like obvious ways and like have the most like drastic changes to them. And I think that's like definitely what's happening right now because I've been having like very bad stomach aches and stuff like that just out of nowhere. I was worried if it was just bad food or whatever, but it's been for like actually quite a few days that I've had a bad stomach. But yeah. But I think in general though, I think right now I'm feeling very very confident about like where I'm going with my whole thing. Right? You know, oh, you know what? It just reminded me yesterday as well, where I was like working on a project. You know, I was looking back on like my past kind of like experiences and stuff, and you know, I was almost kind of like ashamed of myself, like with just like how little I have like really developed, like myself just like personally, not like Andrew Tate stuff, but just like in terms of like personal skills, like personal experience and stuff like that. Like, you know, when looking back, I really could have done more, but I guess there's just like no point in really regretting right now. I just have to, you know, start now. Like the thing I am doing right now is I think basically good experience for the future me that is probably going to do this again, right? It's not like I'm going to do this one project and then it's gonna be over. I'm probably going to be doing more and more of these things in the future. So, you know, basically right now I've come to terms with my current situation and what I am doing. Okay, I am accepting the fact that, or at least I am fully acknowledging the fact that, you know, what I am doing now is not exactly going to become like fruitless, because I am at the same time also preparing for my future my future projects. You know, it's not that, you know, if this one doesn't quote unquote like hit it off, that I am become a failure. It's just an extra experience that I can build myself upon in the future, right? So see it as a double whammy, basically. See it as like building myself is like what I should be focusing. And if this one does anything more than that, hitting it off or whatever, those are all bonuses. I think that's the best perspective I should see. I should see this, where it's like I am doing this for myself first, and whatever comes afterwards are all extras. I just think in general, like I grew up in the age where like basically like YouTube and social media, things like that are like so popular and so big. Like everyone basically, I grew up in an age where it's like everyone wants to be a YouTuber, everyone wants to be like social media famous, everyone wants to be this or that. And then I think I basically am like more or less like influenced by this kind of like atmosphere of like chasing clout or wanting to become famous. And I think I have like had that kind of gotten into me, and honestly I am not happy about that. And I think in many cases it has caused me like a lot of stress. And you know, basically this one, two of ones here, like looking back and looking at myself, I think a lot of stress basically comes down to like me wanting more, me wanting a lot when I don't have the thing to even like help me to reach that. I guess it sort of also relates to one of the like the first few journals that I made, where I talk a lot about me wanting something, having great like ambitions for myself, but at the same time also realizing that I don't have the things to help me to like reach or to fulfill my ambitions. So I become like, you know, I judge myself a lot, and I start to like dislike myself a lot because of all these things. It's like literally like talk big, but like I talk big but has nothing to back it up, right? But right now, like what I'm doing right now, I think is in a way or another like me trying to change that, to add something to behind, and just to add something, no matter how small it is, like behind my words, like literally taking one small step at a time. And hopefully I can keep it up. You know, persistency is also key to all of this, and hopefully I have the persistence to just keep going at it. And it's not gonna be just like a one-off thing that I'm gonna do and then forget. I hope I don't end up being someone that, again, just talks a lot of shit about myself, talks a lot about, oh, what I want to do, but not actually doing anything to even to accomplish that. I don't want to be someone like that. I hope I don't become someone like that. But yeah, that was quite a lot, I think, and I think it's a good summarization of what's been going through my mind, like today and the past few days as well. I think this is pretty good, where it's like maybe I can make this like weekly instead, but I think in general I'm just gonna do this like whenever I feel like it, whenever I feel like I have enough stuff to kind of like talk about or reflect upon. Maybe I should even keep a second journal, just like notes on what I want to talk about in these, I guess, video journals, like some key notes, because I feel like I have been missing a few things from these days as well. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see when the next entry will be, but that's it for today. Bye.